Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg. It's nice to see you again, Father.
Ah, I remember you now. The so-called art dealer.
Well, I'm glad you got your memory back, because you're going to need it. Where are the stones?
I don't know. And even if I did know, I wouldn't tell somebody like you.
Wow. What's wrong with me?
I try to save life. But you only seem to want to destroy it.
Oh, Father. You're so wrong. Let me explain. Life, which you so nobly serve, comes from destruction, disorder, and chaos. Now take this empty glass. Here it is, peaceful, serene, boring. But if it is destroyed, look at all these little things. So busy now. Notice how each one is useful. What a lovely ballet ensues, so full of form and color. Now, think about all those people that created them. Technicians, engineers, hundreds of people who will be able to feed their children tonight so those children can grow up big and strong and have little teeny-weeny children of their own and so on and so forth, thus adding to the great chain of life.
Water, fruit,
You see, Father, by creating a little destruction,
a cherry.
I'm in fact encouraging life. In reality, you and I are in the same business. Cheers.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains language and themes not suitable for all audiences, as well as spoilers for the content being covered. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 88 of the High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Josh. I'm Eric.
I am Josh.
This week, we're watching The Fifth Element, which is a little bit cyberpunk.
A little bit,
Tiddly
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's this is one of our looser cyberpunk films.
Looser and gooser. But you know what? After what we experienced last week, we earned this.
We did.
Josh earned this.
That movie was less cyberpunk than this.
We didn't get into it as much as I would have liked how cyberpunk is Pluto Nash. Aesthetically, I think it was quite cyberpunk, but we can disagree on that.
Yes, we will.
We can hit us up in the comments, chat.
Actually, please don't. So I don't see the words Pluto Nash ever again.
Oh, it's part of the show now. Pluto Nash it's baked into us now. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about this week. We're talking about Fifth Element, which is a good movie. And we're going to get to that soon, but we got some other things to do first. And before we get into the horrible news of another awful week in this fascist dystopian hellhole we call America, I wanted to start with good news.
Ooh, okay.
And if you'll indulge me, Josh,
sure.
I'd like to do a dramatic reading from r/Kansas City.
Okay.
With the title, which you may be familiar with. Did anybody else witness the cop getting run over downtown? I feel like I'm going crazy. It should be in the news. A cop was deliberately run over by an ATV on Main Street in front of the B&B theaters at like 7 p.m., and I've seen nothing about it. And if you scroll all the way down, past all the comments, to the most downvoted response possible, you see Josh from KC. Well, did he deserve it?
I have not looked at that since I commented, "Did he deserve it?" last night.
It's sitting at 94 negative karma at this point.
Fucking A, nice.
Which is pretty big for the KC subreddit.
Yeah.
And a lot of virtue signaling beneath it. Like, I don't agree with the cops all the time either, but how can you wish harm on them? It's like, come on, dude.
Pretty easy, dude.
It's fucking chill.
It's pretty easy. Just imagine in your head a cop standing in the middle of the street trying to flag down a 15-year-old on a four-wheeler. Pretty funny.
Dude, it's funny. There's a video. You can
I haven't seen the video. Is it great?
The cop was trying to pull the kid off the ATV. The kid backed up, knocked the cop down. No, he didn't knock him down. The cop was standing up, and then the kid straight pops a wheelie and rolls over.
Good for him.
And I'm only laughing because the cop's fine. Yes, he had a serious head injury, but he was looked at and released by the hospital. He's recovering at home. Don't get your panties in a bunch. But the visuals are funny.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
It's in the Reddit thread. Yeah, sorry. When you live in a fascist state, you got to laugh as the fucking fascist pigs get run over. I'm sorry. All right, let's talk about the other stuff. I believe we should mention Mr. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Yeah?
Okay, sure.
Maryland dad, unlawfully black-bagged and whisked off to El Salvador, found to be here legally, not doing anything wrong. Administration was ordered by a court to return him. They refused, went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court unanimously said return him, although some of the wording of it's bad. It's not as clear cut as you'd like it to be, but it is. They do say he needs to come back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Hey, everybody, quick editor's note. As of Monday, the 14th of April, both President Trump and the president of El Salvador have stated they will not be making any effort to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States. That's in direct defiance of the Supreme Court order. So I guess we'll see what happens next. They have till Friday, and then shit might be getting real bad.
Yeah, I believe I saw that the official position of the administration is, what do you mean? He's under the control of a sovereign nation. We aren't just going to bring him back. El Salvador has him now.
We're not going to threaten another nation's sovereignty. We would never.
What are we going to do about it? Nothing. We can't do anything about it. Just like the airplane was in international waters. We can't force the pilot to turn around if they're in international waters. I mean, that's like illegal or something, right? Except if we want it. But don't worry about it.
Yeah, like if we want Greenland, we don't care if it's illegal. We'll just go take that shit.
Yeah, good times.
It's, I don't know, man. We talk about it every week, but it's like novel. It's like a fictional novel type of shit that's happening every day.
Mm-hmm.
Shit that you read about when you were a kid, and you're like, "Whew, glad it's not that bad." Well, it's that bad now.
Yeah. It's and people keep rolling over. I mean, something like 5 more of those huge fucking white shoe law firms basically said, okay, Trump, we took part in the lawsuits against you having you having lost the 2020 election? ? So we'll do a bunch of free legal work for your administration. So that's cool. It's nice to see that the lawyers are being lawyers about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking deporting people. We now have really officially enshrined thought crime as a national policy, like something we're against. And by thought crime, I mean maybe you seem like you could maybe not like the Israeli occupation of Gaza.
Well, it's written in one of the executive orders. I believe they say whether you are guilty or if we believe you could become guilty.
Yeah, could become is the operative. Yeah.
I do not have words, and it gets increasingly hard to read this shit every day, which I know is by design. They keep telling us that, but God,
they're revoking tons of student visas.
Like even small little universities in Missouri.
Yeah, Northwestern Missouri State, which is in the town my sister lives in, which is a small fucking college. It's not
36 visas revoked there or something.
Yeah, 36 or 43, something like that. It's
some number in that area.
Yeah, something truly insane for a college that I was dimly aware of existed within 100 miles of us. I mean, it's not. It's Northwest Missouri State is not a hotbed of anti-Israeli action.
No, well, we know the anti-Semitism claim is just an excuse because all those motherfuckers are anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
It's all lies. They just want all foreigners out of the country, it feels like. And I'm wondering how much longer naturalized citizens have.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, based on some stuff I saw earlier in the week, due to what I and a bunch of other people are assuming is a really dumb, incorrect data set. A bunch of natural-born American citizens got emails saying that they should self-deport right now. They have 7 days to do so, otherwise legal proceedings will ensue. And I'm pretty sure it's that, I don't know, those fucking idiots use ChatGPT, you know? And like a couple of the people who got those emails are actually immigration lawyers. So,
really?
So we'll see how this goes. Like, some fucking immigration lawyer who was born in Baltimore to American citizen parents could be getting deported, or I don't know.
At the end of the day, they've got more guns and can make us do whatever they want. And that really sucks.
Well, they've got the guns, but we've got the numbers. What movie was that? It had Sean Astin and Will Wheaton. They were at a private school and like mercenaries took it over. This was like 1990.
Stand By Me.
No. Huh.
Didn't that have Sean Astin and Will Wheaton though?
It did, yes. Well,
okay.
I don't think Sean Astin was in Stand By Me.
You're right, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He definitely wasn't. Anyway.
Yeah. Good time.
We're in the shit, and it's hard to watch the constant cruelty. Like that prison people are being sent to, just fucking normal people are being sent to just some of the worst conditions. Like it's a death camp, man. There's a good chance the reason that Abrego Garcia hasn't been returned is simply because he's not alive, or he's so injured that they're waiting for him to heal, or he was lost. That's bad. That's really fucking bad.
Yeah, it's real bad shit. It's very much in the double plus not good category.
I really expected when it got this bad, there would be more prominent people standing up and putting their neck out, and there just aren't.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like some of these people who are theoretically, have some power, like say, as we've discussed before, are senators, congresspeople. Mm-hmm. You'd think at least a handful of them would be doing it. Like really standing the fuck up, because, I mean, like, if nothing else, don't you want to be in the history books for something good?
Yeah.
I mean, like fucking Klaus von Stauffenberg was going to be in the history books no matter what. And he decided, hey, I'm going to end up in the history books. Maybe I should go ahead and kill fucking Hitler.
Tom Cruise is going to play me in a movie.
Yeah. With a big padded fake ass.
You're right, though. Like, the books we're living through the history that is going to be taught to children in the future. What do you want your name to be in those books? Do you want it to be as an enabler or as someone who just let it happen? Or do you want to be one of the good guys? Now, who knows? Maybe the history book's going to be written by the fascists and they're actually going to win this time. And that's why they're citing it. But historically, it never works out that way, people. Like, eventually something's going to happen and they're going to go down because it's a snake eating its tail.
Yeah. And it's just an inherently dumb fucking political.
Yeah, look at what's happening. Like, look at the tariffs. This is not an intelligent
This is not 4D chess.
Yeah. This isn't even 2D checkers. This is
idiot jumping in a mud
checkers
puddle.
at each other. Yeah. Idiot jumping in a mud puddle. It's they're going to lose eventually. And we need to minimize the cruelty and harm they can inflict while they have power.
Yeah.
So, God damn it, people, stick your necks out a little bit more if you have the power to do so.
I really, I think the other day you brought up something really good on the Discord.
Doesn't sound like me.
I know. I was surprised too. What, 40 years ago? Congressman Ray. I can't remember his full name.
The Jonestown guy?
Yeah. Congressman was hearing a bunch of weird reports from people who had relatives living in Jonestown, in Guyana, and was like, this is very troubling to me. I am going to go and investigate.
Yeah, they can do that. Senators could go to El Salvador right now.
Yeah.
And at least try to find out where this guy is.
They do it a lot.
Bring him back.
It doesn't even cost them money. Like, all you have to do is say, this is a fact-finding mission, and you don't have to pay for it. The government pays for it.
Dude's from Maryland. He's got 2 Democratic senators.
Yeah.
They should be on a plane to El Salvador. Hey, another quick update. Looks like Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is actually saying he is planning to go if something doesn't happen before the deadline. So, good for him. I hope he follows through with it. I really do. I want to see more of it. Kudos. And I know that puts them at risk. I mean, the guy in Jonestown got fucking shot and killed.
Sure.
But God damn it, man. He's known throughout history as a hero now. And I mean, I guess his going might have caused them to kill themselves. So there's some questions there.
Well, something would have kicked it off.
It was going to happen.
Yeah. That's like saying Archduke Franz Ferdinand getting shot. It was the start of World War I. Sure. I mean, that was the precipitating incident, but really the previous 30 years are why World War I happened.
Exactly. Jonestown wasn't ending in a utopia.
No.
But anyway, yeah, you guys get the point. I'm just disappointed in our leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, AOC and Bernie are doing good things. Bernie was on stage at Coachella. That was kind of cool.
In front of a bunch of Misfits posters.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I mean,
that's odd.
And he went on during Claro's set, which I like Claro a lot, so that makes me happy. But he gave a little speech about fascism, which is important, and I'm glad they're doing it, and they're getting good response. But I want to see
have something concrete.
Yeah, I want to see civil disobedience. I want to, and I've heard people call for it in town halls too. I want to see people getting arrested. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to a night in lockup, but if I can achieve anything positive by doing that, okay, fine.
And as a congressperson, spending a night in lockup would be big news.
Yeah, you'd think maybe that even at the extreme low end of the risk spectrum, like a month ago when Doge was running around cutting federal agencies and shutting them down, and congressmen were being prevented by security from going in.
Yeah.
Dude, that is the lowest possible risk. Yeah.
Right.
Get yourself fucking arrested.
Just go in.
And yeah.
Now, that being said, I don't think someone like Ilhan Omar should, because they'll fucking revoke her citizenship. I'm absolutely certain that if she got in trouble, they would send her out of the United States somehow.
That's the bit, I guess, that keeps me from yelling about AOC. She is at the high end of the risk spectrum, just existing. Because, sure, she's a fully naturalized American citizen. I mean, fucking...
She's not naturalized. She's Puerto Rican.
No, natural born. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, her parents are, from fucking Puerto Rico. I mean, it's as close to born in fucking Missouri to Missourian parents as you can get. But she is still at the, high end of the risk spectrum because, boy, that is a mouthy broad. And she's kind of brownish. So,
and they don't fucking care that Puerto Rico is a territory. Half of them don't even understand that it's not a foreign country.
Yeah. Yeah, they also don't know it. So
I've heard her talk about like people telling her to go back to her country and shit like that, and just not understanding anything because they're fucking idiots, because the fascists are so dumb.
Yeah, they really are.
Let's put a bow on this till next week's horrors. Knock out some recommendos real fast so we can get on to Fifth Element, which I'm sure is going to take a while. So I have one quickie. I've been listening to an album by a band of young folks called Mama, capital MOMMA, female fronted kind of alt rock band, and I like it quite a bit.
Oh, you cut out for like a solid 5 seconds there.
Whoa, okay.
I don't know if that appeared on the recording, but
I'm going to assume that it didn't because everything looked fine on my end. But yeah, a band called Mama, alt rock, female fronted. I've been liking their new album, which I should probably say the name of if I'm going to properly plug it. So
sounds like a good thing.
Welcome to My Blue Sky. Just pretty basic rock and roll music.
Music? That's a minor bit that never gets old.
No.
Okay, I have one thing to discuss, which I think is interesting. And I don't know, not really any exciting new recommendos. Oh, wait, I do have one new recommendo. The new Nick Harkaway book called... it's something Beach.
I've seen
Sleeper Beach.
Beach. Okay.
Yeah, came out. It came out on the other side of the pond. So, go ahead and fire up your Waterstones or Amazon.co.uk account and go ahead and, order that thing. It's unclear when it's going to be out in the US.
When you're done, you can spit on that thing.
Yeah, you can.
It's a joke from a year ago. Still funny.
Hawk
2 is still funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah, correct. She's still funny, and she's still absolutely correct in all financial matters.
Yes. I made millions.
She is now smarter than the people who are managing the Treasury and international trade.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that's out. I have just started it like 2 hours ago. And it's really good so far. It's a sequel to Titanium Noir, which came out 2 years ago, I want to say, and I really liked and recommended at the time. It's
a cool name.
Pretty cyberpunky.
Maybe we'll cover it.
Yeah, I really think we should. And I'm working on, I'm working on something for whenever the American release date comes out.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I send out emails like a fucking professional. I even got a different email address that sounds professional.
Oh, that's hard for me to do. Pretty attached to my Gen 1 Gmail address.
Yep, me too. Me fucking too. Okay, so the thing I wanted to discuss, the most recent season 4 of Mystic Quest ended like 2 weeks ago.
I've been curious about this because I don't understand what is happening, but go ahead.
Okay, so season 4 of Mystic Quest ended a couple of weeks ago. It set up. It's a good show. We've mentioned it on this show before. Fun comedy, video games. It's very, very loosely cyberpunk adjacent. They've, it's been a good show, and it's had, ups and downs and whatever. But the most recent season ended. And then I think it was Friday of this week, Apple announced that the show was canceled from this point forward, which, okay. I mean, that happens. I'm a little surprised because Apple
doesn't cancel much.
Doesn't tend to cancel much. And I mean, relatively, I'm sure the show doesn't cost anything compared to all the crazy sci-fi bullshit they put out.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, fine. Show's canceled, whatever. But in this announcement, they mentioned that this upcoming week, they are going to be, I'm not sure if it's going to be a tacked on new ending to the final episode of season 4, or if they are going to be replacing a scene. It's kind of unclear on that. And that is mystifying. Like, on the one hand, great. I like the idea that the people who run the show are given at least something resembling a chance to close
End
up
it.
shop.
Yeah, I agree. But it is very strange. Like it was mentioned on Discord, like they're patching an ending, which I guess is it's funny for a show about video games, but it is not what we're used to. If they remove the original completely and just pop in the new ending, like not even a new episode, like a new scene.
Yeah. Apparently, I've heard absolutely nothing about if it's people got together within the past couple of weeks before Apple, publicly announced it, and they got the crew together and wrote a new scene to kind of close up the show, or maybe it was something they shot 8 months ago when they were shooting the rest of the season.
And they thought they might get canceled, and then
I honestly have no fucking idea. It's real weird. I mean, it's just it's just an odd enough occurrence. I almost, if we hadn't already had a ton of dystopia talk, I would have almost brought it up in the dystopia section, because it's a weird version of, are we rewriting the past?
How do you feel about it? Do you think it's a good move or bad, or just a mixed bag and you're not sure?
I mean, I'm generally for people getting a chance to, close and lock the doors.
Same. I would much prefer it.
Yeah.
To just, well, you're done.
And I mean, there are plenty of good examples of, okay, so whatever network told us that this is going to be the last season, so we got to spend the whole season writing up to the final episode.
Yeah,
and that's an ideal.
Yeah.
Less good versions are, okay, so we're canceling your show, but we'll give you one episode to tie everything up.
Yeah, still better than nothing.
But better than nothing. Maybe this will be better than nothing. And also I'm not going to go into it, there was a really looked at with side-eye decision towards the very end of the last episode of Mystic Quest that I kind of wonder if this is just going to undo it. Pretend it didn't exist. So I don't know. It's it's fucking weird, man. It's just...
It is. I've not heard of it happening before, so
yeah,
maybe it's good.
Yeah, I hope.
I mean, imagine if we could, all those shows we were screwed on getting endings for, if studios were like, you can go back and do another 20 minutes to cap it off.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I'd prefer that, even though a lot of the time it kind of, it might not make sense in
I want
being
20
able
more
to
minutes
wrap
of,
up.
Give me 20 more minutes of Warrior, please.
Yeah. Oh, God, what did I see? Fucking Young June. I saw Young June in something a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think you texted me.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes, and if they completely remove the original, because it's weird.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm not against these companies experimenting. Like, if it's going to be so volatile that shows get dropped like that, and this is a way to, because that's the thing, man. Things are so niche, and it from podcasting. Like, even shows that aren't popular are going to have their fan bases, and it really sucks to turn and sometimes it'll turn them off of streaming services. It's happened to me for sure. Like, if your favorite shows on a streaming service get that treatment a couple times, you're like, well, fuck Netflix. Why am I watching Netflix? It's just endless hand jobs with no climax.
Yeah.
So I'm not against them experimenting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it turns out to be like.
All right.
That's it.
We good?
We good.
All right, let's talk about Fifth Element. Josh, do that. Fifth Element intro.
Fifth Element intro. Okay. May 9, 1997. Exciting new film opens in the United States of America. It's called The Fifth Element. It stars Bruce Willis. And fucking...
that guy from Moonlighting?
That guy from Moonlighting. And Die Hard. And Hudson Hawk. And Billy Bathgate. And Die Hard 2.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Yes, this was after
game.
Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
Just after it.
Tears of the Sun.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
A
bunch of really sad...
Boy Scout.
Yeah, he was.
Was he? Okay, I nailed it.
Yeah, him and Dave Wayans. Yeah. It's one of those new plastic hotel keys. The kind that shred. That is a deeply stupid film I watched a year ago, I think.
Is it good, though?
I
remember loving it, but
like,
I haven't seen it since I was a child.
It's in that netherland of like, yeah, everything about it rules. It's also horrible, but it rules.
The Bad Boys situation.
Yeah, very much that.
Okay.
So exciting new movie with Bruce Willis and this new star, Mia Jovovich.
Never heard of her.
Directed by a Frenchman, Luc Besson.
Unproblematic at the time. Well, I mean, probably being problematic.
Yeah, probably. I assume so. I actually learned something this morning watching this movie, or as I was doing my notes run. Apparently, Luc Besson was married to Plava Laguna, the girl who played the opera singer.
Oh, okay.
When this movie was shooting. And the instant, I can't remember that actress's name, Maiwen something. Anyway, the instant the movie stopped filming, he divorced her and married Mia Jovovich for a year.
Wow.
Like, it was truly, oh, wow. Mia Jovovich was in Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, she was.
Holy shit.
She was good in it. Didn't
My
speak.
God. She was also in Married with Children. Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
I love that show.
Fucking A. I had no idea she had this much of a career before The Fifth Element. Huh. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, we got a movie. It's set in the future. And I don't know, we're going to pretend it's cyberpunky, right? So what we're doing here?
I don't think we have to pretend. I mean, it's got a lot of hallmarks of cyberpunk in it. Definitely a lot more than some movies we've covered.
If nothing else, it's pulling inspiration from the same places that a lot of cyberpunk stuff is.
Yeah, they hint that we're in kind of a hyper law enforcement is kind of overstepping its bounds.
Yeah, and
like
hyper
every house has two circles where people just know that's where you put your hands when you're about to get patted down by the cops.
Yeah, and they do video scans of you. Yeah.
They do video scans. Cigarettes come with filters that are 3 inches long.
That is truly dystopian.
So it's definitely got cyberpunk hallmarks, and it's got all the flying cars and bright colors that a lot of people associate with cyberpunk. It's really well lit, and that's not very cyberpunky, but
yeah,
whatever. And it's got high tech, it's got low life. It doesn't necessarily have like body modifications unless you count hiding the MacGuffin in your stomach.
Well, I would argue that one of the major modifications you can make to a body is 3D printing it out of a gauntlet.
Cloning, yeah, absolutely. That I think this film belongs in any cyberpunk discussion.
Yeah, I absolutely do not disagree with that. It definitely does not. It doesn't cover a lot of the thematic aspects of cyberpunk.
Sure. It's not Neuromancer for...
No, yeah. And but regardless, right off the bat, this movie fucking rules.
Yeah.
It's maybe not the greatest movie of all time, but fuck, it is fun bullshit. Bad Boys again.
I think it's better than...
I think it's better, yeah. But
I don't think you were comparing it directly to Bad Boys.
Yeah.
I know what you meant by that, but I think as a film, it's better than Bad Boys.
Yeah, I think so. Now,
there's
better
more
than
going
Bad Boys 2? I don't know about that.
We did our watch along, and just the attention to detail and the world building they do in The Fifth Element is very good.
Yeah,
and that's part of the reason it succeeds so well, in my opinion.
This movie is jam-packed full of and in multiple entire fucking worlds where you're like, what's happening around that corner? We don't know.
Exactly.
Could be. It's probably something fucking neat. And that owes itself to the fact that apparently Luc Besson started writing the script when he was 16, I think, or 14. And by the time that I think it was his movie after La Femme Nikita, and he was 38 or something like that, it had ballooned to 400 pages. Heavily inspired by Heavy Metal magazine, or Metal Hurlant if you're French, and all sorts of other weird shit that he'd seen. and it became this incredibly unwieldy thing, which I read one little chunk of an interview where he said, I could easily build 4 movies out of the script I had.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen them.
Yeah, me too.
Make it a trilogy.
And this is the ideal version of kind of what happens with a script like that. Because there are other movie scripts like that, where, like Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola's movie from last year. That had, started production sort of and started writing 30 years ago.
And honestly, Pluto Nash, we talked about it last week.
Yeah. And there is a point at which you lose.
Oh, the fucking ATV's coming for you, Josh.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I got my window open.
Loud as shit.
Oh, really? It wasn't that loud in my
sure
headphones.
The audience heard it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the ideal version of that. You have tons of shit and you just boil it down to one pretty simple idea.
Yeah.
The Megalopolis version does not.
No, from what I've heard, I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like I feel compelled to say, because we touched on that Luc Besson's a bad guy, but we like this movie a lot, and we're going to be probably sucking his dick a little bit in a complimentary way. I mean to say,
yeah.
And so I just did my research, and he was accused of rape in 2018, and he was cleared of the charges in 2023. Okay. But I want to just get out there. He's a problematic guy, and we're not signing off on him as a person. So fuck him. But he made a good movie in this case. Yeah,
clearly bad guy. Made a couple of good movies, and even people are allowed to like good things made by bad people.
Yeah,
I mean, otherwise there would be.
I think it's fair to put an asterisk next to him, for eternity. They need to have that asterisk to be like, a piece of shit made this. So when you like it, just don't forget that.
And I mean, otherwise, if we were to say that, you shouldn't like good things made by bad people, there would be like a total of 10 good movies in the world, and that's it.
That's unfortunately true.
Like, there's whether it's chicken and it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Are you a director because you're a bad person, or are you a good person? Or are you a bad person because you're a director? Impossible to say.
Impossible. And this movie has 2 directors in it. Sorry, that's for later.
Okay. So we're in the future. We start the movie off. We're in space, and a long, empty credit sequence. We got some rocks in space. Why? We don't know. We come across a planet. It's Earth. From
Welcome
Independence
to it.
Day. Yeah. From Independence Day. There's a giant fucking spaceship.
Earth from the movie Independence Day, the only place Earth has appeared.
Yeah, exactly. Then we cut to this ancient Egyptian-ish tomb temple thing, and we got a 1914, it says, Egypt, professor translating hieroglyphics to Luke Perry, who is sketching shit. And we're like, holy shit, that's the guy from Beverly Hills 90210. And in the future, from John from Cincinnati.
And from The Simpsons.
Yes, Sideshow Luke Perry.
Right.
One of very few bits I remember from The Simpsons. So he's translating these hieroglyphics, and it turns out that like every 5,000 years, something bad happens. It can only be prevented with like 4, these 5 elements: earth, air, wind, fire, water. Is that right? Like Avatar. But there's also a 5th element. What is that element? Unclear.
Captain Planet.
It could be Captain Planet.
It kind of is. She's kind of Captain Planet.
Sort of. She is the supreme being.
I wish she was
blue and muscly.
Blue and muscly, but
no. Huge Don Cheadle?
That. Captain Planet as performed by Don Cheadle.
With an upsetting green flat top.
That's such a good sketch. Don Cheadle laying waste.
That is very... God, that has to be 15 fucking years old.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, that was like pre-YouTube.
It's also got Britta in it.
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's translating these hieroglyphics, and this is a very exciting discovery. This monk guy shows up. He's a very threatening, vaguely Middle Eastern looking, wearing brown robes monk guy. And he tries to poison him and Luke Perry with some poison put into water because they already know too much. Fails to poison him because, rightly, the professor is like, we can't toast with fucking water? What are you, an idiot? And has Luke Perry get the grappa out. And then it suddenly gets dark outside. And it's because the giant fucking spaceship has set down. Then there are these giant funny elephant bird robot guys that come out of the spaceship. And they're cool looking. They're Mandragorans? Is that right?
I have no idea.
Mandashoans? Whatever. Mandalorian?
Yeah,
they're Mandalorians. That's right. Yeah. Pedro Pascal's there.
He's just doing voiceover.
Yeah.
He's not actually there.
The aliens explain that war is coming. The stones aren't safe on Earth anymore. And then like points at the wall, and out of his giant robot finger comes this little tiny delicate key. This like gold filigree thing. And he fingers the hell out of the wall crack.
He does. Fingers it good.
Up. Yeah. And we enter a chamber with 5 stones on pillars.
We're saying he. It's probably not a he.
Okay, this is something that I actually thought of and was going to talk about yesterday when we were watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we got sidetracked by, I don't know, yelling about some insane bullshit like supermodels.
Yeah.
I do not think that all of these aliens are Mia Jovovich on the inside or Mia Jovovich equivalents.
No, I think they're Mia Jovovich equivalents. I think they're all supermodels.
Okay.
Because every extra in this movie is a supermodel, for one thing.
Good point. Okay, that evidence doesn't support what you're saying. But, yes, literally everyone in this movie who isn't Bruce Willis is a supermodel.
Pretty much. But I don't know. Like, I feel like that's the case. That they're all these perfect Fifth Element beings, whether they're male or female or something in between.
I have always assumed that they are, some kind of weird alien thing in, big weird armor. And that it was when the cloning comes up, that's kind of planted, I guess, by the alien guys. I don't know, because we hear a bunch of shit about how they've got like 8 million times the DNA of a human or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah.
It doesn't. Make up your own headcanon. Mine is that they're all full of hot Mia Jovoviches.
Yeah, there's like 14 Mia Jovoviches in each set of armor.
They're like wrapped around the big donut middle with the giant light on the cock. Yeah.
All right. Honestly, I'd pay good money to see an illustration of what that would look like. Huh.
Just stick one of those in an MRI. Nope, that would be a mistake. They're very metallic.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys are giant and made of like bronze. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of metal in them. Anyway. So there's also this screaming sarcophagus standing in the middle of these 4 pillars. The alien robot guys floated out, and they say, war's coming. We'll be back in like 300 years to put this back, and then, we'll be able to defeat evil then. We just can't have this stuff here now, right? The professor passes out. Luke Perry gets real nervous, trips over a fucking thing on the floor, accidentally shoots some of the alien guys. The walls start closing in again. And the priest is given the key to get into the chamber by one of them who is left in the chamber and gets crushed.
Poor guy.
Yeah. And also he gets a mission to pass on what he knows, for 300 years. And then we move on and the aliens take off and we're like, holy shit, that was a cool fucking opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a Stargate thing, right?
I've never seen it. Not big on sci-fi, Josh. You know this about me.
I guess that's true, oddly enough.
I prefer period pieces from like the 1700s. That's pretty much exclusively what I watch.
honestly, with the number of like huge sci-fi films you haven't seen, do you like sci-fi? Like, I'm seriously asking you. It's like, on the one hand, there's plenty of evidence to indicate that yes, you enjoy science fiction films. On the other hand,
Cyberpunk podcast.
Yeah, that's a big piece of evidence. On the other hand, you've never seen so many giant and important sci-fi movies.
I like, this is true, I like leaving things for the future. I know one day I'm going to watch Alien and I'm probably going to like it. And I haven't seen it and everybody else has. And I get to have that power. When you see Alien for the first time, it's probably pretty cool. And that's used up for all you fucking people. But I haven't used that up yet. I've still got that waiting in the hopper. When I was a kid, my sister and I would wait to open our Christmas presents so that one of us always had one left after the other. It would be like a competition to see who could keep their present the longest, because it's the potential. Potential is so much more exciting than the past experience to me.
God, you're fucking J.J. Abrams. That's like his whole, like weeks, maybe months ago, you said something to me about what is a mystery box.
I was curious.
That is exactly it.
Wow.
J.J. Abrams, when he was a kid, was given a present by his dad, I think.
Yeah, the story was told to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and he determined that not knowing what was in the box was more fun than like finding out.
I mean, I agree with that specifically. I don't agree with how he's interpreted the mystery box into writing.
Yeah, I think it's a bad way to do stuff.
I think it's a bad way to tell a story, but
yeah.
But we've talked about it.
There should be something in the box in the end.
The mystery of if Deckard is a replicant or not is so much more fun than actually knowing.
Yeah,
like
it's more interesting.
But I'm being a little bit joking when I say that about Alien. The other half is that I've heard enough about it that there's not a lot of excitement left to watching it, because I basically know what happens. But
who cares what happens? It's got fucking Yaphet Kotto and Harry Dean Stanton.
And I haven't seen Alien. I haven't seen Aliens.
Oh, okay. Well, but okay, that's less. Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, I was slow on. I didn't see Blade Runner till I was an adult.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I like sci-fi.
Okay. I just, honestly, it suddenly occurred to me. There's plenty of evidence that you like sci-fi, but there's also many indicators that maybe you don't. Okay. Anyway, going back to this. What the fuck were we talking about?
I don't remember. Some fucking weird movie about space bullshit.
Okay. So we go 300 years in the future. And we're out in like a space navy thing, kind of, fucking Imperial Navy from Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, this movie's very Star Wars coded. Star Wars hadn't been fucked out like it is now, and they were clearly trying to pull on some Star Wars nostalgia.
Oh, it's going to appear later in this episode. So yeah, we're on a space Navy thing with, and the space Navy is observing this scary black planet that's also a cloud and an explosion, kind of. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's hard to explain. This is the existential threat of the film. It is a presence of pure evil that just destroys shit. The Navy shoots a couple of probes at it and then some missiles to try and destroy it, and it goes ahead and expands and eats the Navy. And
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah, R.I.P. the Navy. We also, in this section, get introduced to the president, who is played by Tiny Lister. He's the president of, I don't know if it's actually ever said,
they
like the Galactic Federation or something.
Yeah, Federation of Earth or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly.
And we're also introduced to Priest Vito Cornelius, who is played by Ian Holm. He's wearing a robe. He's Bobo Baggins, if you don't know. He's also in Alien.
Yeah.
And the most recent Alien movie.
Did you figure out who he played in Alien? Because you couldn't remember.
I totally forgot to look that up. Should be easy to find, though.
Yeah, you keep going. I'll
okay.
Interrupt you in the middle of a sentence and scream the name.
Sounds good. So he's a priest. He has a little apprentice named David who wears...
It was Rook.
Rook. Okay.
You said that, actually.
I did. Okay. Yes, I think. I initially said Bishop, which is the Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, that I knew was incorrect.
Aliens. Yeah. Anyway, he's got an apprentice named David who wears a little Devo energy dome hat. And he says, you shouldn't blow, he says to the president, you shouldn't blow it up because evil begets evil. I don't know, whatever. It's going to be a threat to all of us. And oh, by the way, these aliens are going to save us. This is this ancient threat, whatever. This movie does a really good job of having a bunch of dumb plot bullshit effectively happen off screen. And you don't even know or care. Yeah. All we need to know is that this planet's evil. The shit we saw 5 minutes ago in ancient Egypt is related to this and stopping it. Yeah, they blow the thing up. The thing blows them up. And then we go to South fucking Brooklyn, New York, 2267 or whatever, and we are introduced to John McClane or Corbin Dallas or what was his name on Moonlighting?
I don't remember.
I'd absolutely know it if you said it. Anyway, it's Bruce Willis with blonde hair.
Very bleach blonde.
Yeah, he looks like he's in the future. He wakes up. There's a fucking quit smoking machine. He has 4 or 5 cigarettes. They are exactly the opposite proportions of regular cigarettes, where,
filtered tobacco.
4/5 of them are filter, and 1/5 is tobacco. So we find out he's a cab driver. He used to be like a space commando guy. We see a shelf with a bunch of medals and shit. Gets a phone call from his taxi dispatcher saying he needs to bring his cab in. He's got a cat. It's adorable.
Very cute.
Yeah, why doesn't the cat show up? God, the cat should be in the scene about 2/3 of the way or halfway into the movie, where everybody is showing up at the apartment.
Yeah, definitely should make a cameo again because the cat is adorable.
The cat, it's a beautiful fucking white cat, and it just looks at him like a fucking moron. And it's doing that cat thing where meow, meow, meow. It's been fed, but he wants you to believe he hasn't been fed.
Yeah,
cat shit.
Manipulative little bastard.
Yeah. And as he's getting ready to go out, we see a commercial on TV for this thing at Floss and Paradise. And we hear Ruby Rod's voice for the first time. Ruby Rod is going to own the back half of this film. So yes. Get prepared.
Absolutely.
He leaves his apartment to go do his cab shit. And there's a mugger in the hallway played by high-tech low-life all-star Matthew Kasovitz.
Yeah, the other director I'd mentioned earlier.
Yes, who was the director of Babylon AD, the Vin Diesel film we watched, I don't know, 8 months ago, a year ago?
Yeah,
something like that.
You might have forgotten because I nearly did.
Yeah. He was a actor before he was a director. And he is playing a real fucking tweaked out mugger.
Yeah.
And
he's hilarious, actually.
He's got a great gimmick because Bruce Willis looks through the peephole in his door, sees no one there, opens the door, and suddenly this mugger is there. How is that possible? This mugger is wearing a hat that has a picture of the hallway on it. The empty hallway. Yeah, it's a great bit. He tries to mug Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis takes the gun away from him because he's Bruce Willis.
If tweakers could just put their genius to attaining drugs to good use for society, we wouldn't need the tariffs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a very fun, very stupid bit. It's truly deeply dumb shit. And Bruce Willis is obviously very amused, like, good hat. I honestly think he was not warned what was going to appear on the other side of the door.
Maybe. He takes it in stride, and he doesn't hurt this guy. He doesn't shoot him, or he just takes his gun and says, "Get out of here, you scamp."
Yeah. It's a good bit. So he goes to his cab. His cab is a fucking flying car. It's basically like a chopped, slammed, and leaded, like 49 Mercury. Little slit fucking windows. It flies around. It looks fucking cool. It looks
very cool.
It looks like the cool version of the shit they were trying in Pluto Nash.
Exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, that's another reason I feel like that movie was cribbing from this one.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going to leave the movie for a while. but he's out there pulling fucking fares. Um,
Also,
and-
as Josh previously mentioned, like, and we talked about this on the watch along, it is taken directly from heavy metal.
Yeah.
But not in like a theft way. I think it's in an homage. Like they've made it clear that's what they were hearkening to when they took it. But
yeah, there's actually in my research, there's some interesting stuff about what this borrowed from heavy metal. Okay, so this movie first went into production in late 1991.
Wow.
And the initial choices were like, do we get Mel Gibson? Do we get Bruce Willis to star?
God, Mel Gibson was just up for everything in the 80s and 90s.
Well, yeah, he really was. Anyway, during this period, Luc Besson hires Mobius, who's a heavy metal illustrator and comics artist, and fuck, what is the dude's name? Another heavy metal guy. Shit, why don't I have this in my notes? Mézières. Jean-Claude Mézières, who is another heavy metal comic guy. He hires them to do a bunch of design stuff, then figures out he's not going to be able to get the budget to do this movie the way he wants to. So he shuts it down. Then he goes off and makes The Professional, which is a pretty big hit.
Very
Jean
popular.
Reno. Yeah, Jean Reno, Natalie Portman, Gary Oldman. And then he comes back to this after that. Then he does this movie. It comes out. He gets sued by Mézières for basically cribbing from Mézières' heavy metal stuff. He ends up losing that suit because, yeah, he hired you to work on the movie. The fact that he stopped production on it in 1992 and then picked it back up again doesn't mean he's starting a new movie and has to hire you again for your production designs, was basically
interesting.
what the court said. Like, we're allowed to keep the drawings you did when you were working on it because
Right.
you were, for pay at the time.
Yeah, that work has been paid for.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. But yes, it is clearly deeply fucking heavy metal influenced. It's, if you've ever seen a fucking heavy metal comic, this looks like it. Like,
Yeah, and heavy metal has come up enough times on this show that I think we're going to have to cover the movie at some point. There's enough cyberpunk in there. It's mixed in with fantasy and space stuff, but I feel like we should cover it.
I don't think you're wrong. It's just that has never entered my mind as a cyberpunk property, like the movie, at all. But I don't think you're wrong.
I think it's inspired some cyberpunks.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it inspired this movie. But yeah, there are, you can go on YouTube and there are like side by side shots from the heavy metal movie, the one particular short about the cab driver.
Yeah.
And the shots are almost the same in this, of just him going around the city. So it's undeniable that they're...
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's New York. It's hugely vertical. Like everything is now, I don't know, 1,000 stories taller than it was or something.
There's some mysterious fog at the bottom.
Yeah. The one thing that got left out of the movie, but is apparent in the screenplay apparently, is that sea levels have dropped in the year 2267 or whatever. Why? It's not that there's glaciation. It's because we've shipped off a bunch of water to terraform other planets.
Oh, nice. Good idea.
Yeah, fun times. Anyway, it's a cool looking, like the cars and shit. It's all cool looking. Assume everything from this point out looks cool in some way, even if it's an insane cool.
In a very unique way.
Yeah.
And we'll there's so much to talk about and we're so limited on time, but
yeah.
Who does the costumes? Jean-Paul
Gaultier, Gaultier. He's a high fashion designer.
And the costumes are absolutely one of a kind.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have done it previous or since.
And they're fantastic. Like, I mean...
Yeah. Let's see. Other things Gaultier did. was Madonna's Cone Bra for the Blonde Ambition tour.
Iconic.
Yeah, the iconic. Costumes for The City of Lost Children, which is probably a movie we ought to cover at some point.
I don't know about that. Maybe. I don't remember it being cyberpunk at all. Maybe steampunk.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's... anyway, he was the creative director for Hermes for like 10 years or something. He did a bunch of wild fashion shit. I mean...
And he got all his models background
Yes.
extra parts.
Seemingly... The back half of this movie is almost nothing but supermodels. It's pretty impressive.
Very strange. They were huge in the 90s. People
really
loved
were.
supermodels. That was not
really-
problematic at all.
Is that that isn't a thing anymore, is it?
They exist, but yeah, it's not
they?
like it was in the 90s. Yeah, there's. I mean,
Okay.
if you're into that, if you're into fashion and that lifestyle, but
Okay.
not like it was in the 90s. They weren't famous like that.
Yeah, I just honestly don't have, I know that none of them are as prominent as Cindy Crawford was or Claudia Schiffer.
Right.
Because, yeah.
Everything is niche now, man.
That's true.
If you're in the niche, there's super famous people, but outside of the niche, nobody gives a shit, which kind of like that about.
Hey, welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, because how else do we have a podcast,
Okay, so we go back to the president and the priest. The priest explains, okay, we've got 48 hours before evil takes over the galaxy. It'll, if it were to reach Earth and like we weren't to fight back against it with the rocks and the screaming sarcophagus thing, that'd be the end of the universe in 48 hours. But it's okay because those big aliens are coming back. They've got the rocks. They've got whatever, they've got whatever else shit they need. It's going to be fine. They're on their way here right now. And we cut to the aliens on their way here. And then they get blown the fuck up by these weird frog lizard guys.
Yeah, the heroes of our story.
The heroes. So that's bad.
It depends on whose side you're on, I guess.
Yeah. That's true. But
Mangalores is what these guys are called.
Yes. And the good guy aliens
Mandoshawan.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, and it's this point we meet Brian James in his third or fourth appearance on our podcast.
we can't neglect to mention that Brian James is back.
One of his last couple of roles, I think.
I think
he
was.
died in '99. He is hilarious in this.
He died. His last movie was in 2005.
Wow, that must have been in post for a while because I'm certain he died in '99 or
99,
2000.
August 7th, 99.
Yeah.
What a fucking American hero.
Yeah, and it just like all the his goddamn face is great.
Yeah.
he puts on a dumb face like very few other people can manage.
Yeah, he really does.
Anyway, in this movie, he's got like a fucking red beret and like bleached fucking silver hair and a goatee. He's hilarious in this thing. Fortunately, it turns out that one of the good guy aliens survived, quote marks. Really, it's just a gauntlet with some meat in it that's badly burned. So they're going to clone it, and then everything will be fine because they have the case, right?
Sure. I don't know if that's the government's reason for cloning it or if they're just curious, but
I believe that's the broader reason for cloning it, though. I think Brian James's position is, well, let's see what this thing looks like.
Hey, real quick, did you know that Brian James was in a movie called Pterodactyl Woman from Beverly Hills?
I did not.
So that's something we should consider for Patreon.
It doesn't necessarily
Stars
sound
Beverly D'Angelo.
cyberpunk. Oh, shit, really? Okay, that does seem like something we should watch if it is at all available.
Yeah, I'm not saying we should do it for this show, but I'm talking for Patreon.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that.
Anyway.
That also seems like the type of thing that seems like the type of movie that Stan would be real into based on what Jeff told us.
Yeah. Beverly D'Angelo, man, I love her.
She's a whole goddamn thing.
Anyway, back to the fucking front.
Back to the front. So They go ahead and clone the meat out of this gauntlet. Oh, also, we missed a little part where the Toad guys who blew up the ship give Gary Oldman a phone call and say, yeah, we blew up that ship for you. So we got the case with the rocks in it. We're all good.
Gary Oldman is playing an arms dealer named Zorg, and he is probably the most ridiculous looking bad guy
in cinema. Yeah.
In cinema. Yeah. He's got like this weird head shaved on the side with a clear plastic covering his head, and his hair is, I can't even describe how this man looks.
A tiny soul patch.
Yeah. Definitely a soul patch. And his outfits are brightly colored.
He spends the entire movie with his mouth just slightly open. It's a
amazing.
Real specific choice he made to never appear with a closed mouth.
Yeah, it's like got the, it's like a bucktooth looking like Bugs Bunny thing almost. What's her name from White Lotus?
Yeah. Amy Lou Woods.
I mean, not quite that pronounced, but yeah, he's always got his teeth showing.
And he's talking like fucking Foghorn Leghorn / Kevin Spacey from House of Cards. It is a performance for the ages.
Yes.
And he does not like this movie.
He doesn't? That's a shame.
No. He said, no. Somebody asked him about it probably 10, 15 years ago, and he said, no, I don't think, I didn't like that movie. It wasn't very good, but it was a favor. Luc Besson gave me a huge break in The Professional, and also he helped fund and produce my own movie, which was, is it Romeo's Bleeding? The movie Gary Oldman directed at about the time this movie came out. Mm-hmm. So he was basically doing Luc Besson a big favor.
Well, he is a unique ass antagonist because, as you pointed out, he doesn't ever really interact with our heroes.
Yeah, never once sees them.
He's just kind of a behind the scenes presence that we're aware of, but the main characters aren't, and it's interesting. But he does a great job. I'm sorry he doesn't like it.
Yeah, the protagonists have no idea that he is a major antagonist, and he has no idea that they are major protagonists.
The priest, Ian Holm, meets him once. That's the closest thing we have to an interaction, and it's a great interaction. You're probably about to get to it soon.
Yeah,
so I'll let you go.
Yeah. So they, the army guys, go ahead and clone / 3D print the meat from this gauntlet. It's magic because it's got like 200 times the DNA of a regular people. I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's a really good scene that launched 9 million fetishes.
And cosplays.
Where there's just this cylinder and a skeleton gets printed and then some muscles and
pretty good CGI for 1997. I think.
Yeah. Then the cylinder like closes up and it's bombarded by slightly greasy solar atoms. I don't know, whatever. So it'll grow skin. And then it opens up and it's naked Mia Jovovich in 1997. And she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she's embarrassingly pretty.
Immediately covered in ace bandages.
Yeah, she's wrapped in a Jean-Paul Gaultier designed ace bandage setup. And so this is the perfect supreme being. And she's fucking confused and just babbling like an idiot. And punches her way out of the cylinder, knocks out Brian James, and then goes like diving through a fucking wall.
She beats the shit out of Brian James, and he's wearing a Band-Aid on his nose for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Because Mia Jovovich is, she's clearly, if you've seen a Mia Jovovich movie, she's very fit. She's 5'5", I don't know, something like that. She's just a tiny girl who beats the living shit out of 200-pound Brian James with one hand.
And after this, she kind of makes a career being a badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she takes off, goes out through some fucking vents. It's at this point we meet the cops / security guards that we'll be interacting with for the next 40 minutes. And the cop outfits look fucking cool.
Yeah.
It is
Not
some serious. No, absolutely not. It is some serious heavy metal / Judge Dredd like costuming. Judge Dredd, the comics, less so the movies. She she sneaks out of the building through a fucking vent. She gets all fucking dirty. She climbs around on the outside, and she's just on this narrow, like foot wide wedge, thousands of feet above the ground. The cops are trying to capture her. One of them says, come back into the tunnel, put your hands down and surrender. Do you understand? And she's like, blah, 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 and then walks off. No, she doesn't understand. She's just
she can read though.
Yeah. Well, we find that out in a minute. Yeah. She's about to be caught, but she goes ahead and just fucking swan dives off the side of the skyscraper and crashes 100 stories down through the roof of Bruce Willis's cab. And here this is kind of,
it's a meet cute.
Yeah, it absolutely is. In that any actual human, if they did that, would be turned into meat.
Well, humans are already meat. Their meat would be separated from their bones.
Yeah. She's doing some more babbling in this nonsense language, which apparently is something that Luc Besson actually invented. He and Mia Jovovich were able to communicate in letters and conversation in this language.
Jesus Christ, that seems excessive.
It's one of those things where somebody gets a fucking bright idea when they're 16 and spends 30, 20 fucking years just elaborating on it.
Yeah.
And I
like
agree.
Twin languages.
Yeah. It's
thing, right?
It's very much a twin language babble. Huh. Or at least that's what it sounds like to me, having heard twin language, talk.
Yeah.
And I assume, I don't know that this is true, I assume that she is explaining in this scene to Bruce Willis the entire plot of the film.
Probably, yeah. That would be hilarious.
I assume she's saying, by the way, I'm the supreme being. I need to get to this place, get these 4 stones.
The fifth element is love. You're going to have to fall in love with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely assume that is the case. Also, it's at this point that the score turns super fucking Bjork-like. It's like post to homogenic era Bjork.
Which, by the way, right after we watched that, I saw a TikTok where a guy was like, we've been pronouncing Bjork's name wrong this whole time. She told us how her name was pronounced back in like the early 90s, and we simply refused to do it. It's like Björsk or something like that.
It's more a Björ than a Bjor.
Yeah. But we're all like, nah.
No, I've been saying her name I've been saying her name incorrectly for 30 years at this point, unless she is in front of me and asks me to stop. I don't know if I'm going to be able to break that habit.
Well, like that time you made all those videos for her.
Yeah.
You said her name correctly in those.
And especially that one video where I'm wearing the Darth Maul face paint.
Yeah. Oh, and you framed that poor dumb bastard, and he took the fall for you.
There's some deep internet lore, people. Look it up.
Only the timeliest of references on High Tech Low Life.
Yeah, or don't look it up. Maybe
don't look it up.
Yeah.
There's been some really great true crime podcast episodes on it, though.
Really?
Several.
I don't know. I guess I assumed that was far enough. That was long ago enough and not interesting enough that it would be outside their purview.
Long story short, Bjork had a weird stalker. He made a lot of videos. They're all out there if you want to watch them.
They absolutely are, including his very final video. Emphasis on final. Crazy guy. And this is also the point where I posit that this movie was intended to star Bjork. I found absolutely no supporting documentation for it. But
it makes sense, and I agree.
Yeah, it's Mia Jovovich is playing Bjork, basically. But I don't think Bjork would do that good with action.
I don't think Bjork would have been nearly as good as Mia Jovovich playing Bjork.
Yeah. I mean, like, I love the hell out of Bjork, but I think Besson made the right choice here.
Yeah, agree.
So, She, this is also the point where she says, big bada boom, where, about coming through the roof of the cab. And there's a car chase. It's a million times better than the car chase in Pluto Nash. The
At
cops
least a
are
million.
fucking shooting at them. We got flying car shit all over the place.
A lot of McDonald's product placement.
Yeah, it's really interesting that for like a 2-minute period in this movie, there is a ton of McDonald's product placement. And then it never appears again.
Hey,
and it's
got to pay the bills.
And it's almost the only real brand in the movie.
I know, it's weird. It's out of place for sure.
I think the makeup thing that she puts on later is Chanel branded, if I remember right. But yeah, it's real odd. Anyway, great car chase. Fucking
McDonald's in the future staffed exclusively by supermodels.
Obviously. Bruce Willis is flying this flying car up and down, and like there's a real great section where he's just nosediving this fucking flying cab straight down, and Mia Jovovich is pressed and like lying on the clear divider because it's a cab between the passenger compartment and the driver's compartment. And
it's kind of like a Sir Mix-a-Lot video.
And yes, she puts him on the glass. She is just babbling the whole fucking time. Just like, and it is great and very charming. So they escape.
Oh, also at this point we realized, or maybe it's just at the end of this scene, when Bruce Willis is trying to talk to her, how god-awfully charming Bruce Willis is.
Yeah, they end up hiding in the fog at the bottom of the city. And she explains that and also she learned a little bit of English. She read a thing in the back of his cab, like, help, please help. Everything she says in this movie is an interesting combination of incredibly mockable, stupid, like just insane delivery, and also really incredible. I mean, it's unmistakable for anything.
I mean, there's a reason it became a meme. I mean, it's mockable, but also good. So
yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to stand back and go, yeah, it's kind of perfect somehow. What do you want?
When she presents the multipass, snaps it up and says multipass, like that is both hilarious and also perfectly delivered. You can't deny it.
And literally everybody in the audience does the Leo leaning towards screen pointing thing.
Yeah.
So she needs to go to a priest, Vito Cornelius. And Bruce Willis takes her there, takes her to Vito Cornelius's apartment. He answers the door. He's like, yeah, this lady said she needed to come here. He says, weddings are one floor down.
Slams the door in his face.
It's great. He then passes out once he realizes that she's the supreme being that he's been waiting for.
Basically, Jesus showed up at his door being carried by a cab driver.
Yeah. It's good shit. She's passed out at this point. Ian Holm asked Bruce Willis to wake her gently, and he does so in a very 1990s way.
Yeah.
Also probably a very Luc Besson way. Yeah. So he leans in, gives her a delicate kiss on the lips. And as an audience in the year of our Lord 2025, you're like, well, that's inappropriate. And Mia Jovovich finds it so as well. She points a fucking loaded gun at his head.
And specifically says in her language, not without my permission, which is translated by Ian Holm, which, I mean...
very forward-looking.
Ostensibly, the filmmaker understood consent.
Yeah. I mean, he's at least aware of it.
Yeah.
So, basically... Corbin Dallas ends up, which is Bruce Willis's character, gets kicked out of the apartment. Ian Holmes like, okay, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. We got it. Go. So he obviously leaves the movie forever because,
no more Corbin Dallas.
Yeah. He goes home. The cat is starving and dying in the normal cat way. And we see some shots. We see some scenes of Lilu, who we learned her name was Lilu. Lilu something. Big long name, shortened to Lilu, the supreme being. She reads some Wikipedia. She
Eats a lot of chicken.
Chicken.
Two entire. I mean, they're called chickens. They look more like small turkeys, but
Yeah.
2 entire rotisserie chickens.
Yeah.
Which who among us hasn't?
Yeah. So.
But he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Yeah, really. So we also learn at this point that the rocks from the beginning of the movie were stolen at some point. They were not found in the wreckage with the gauntlet. And then we go back to fucking Gary Oldman in his psychotic haircut, who is being needlessly mean walking down a hallway when an assistant says, economic indicators say that we should be firing 500,000 people. And he says, fire 1 million, because he's a bad guy. Because remember when it was bad guys who did that?
Who needlessly fired people who were just trying to feed their families. Remember that, everyone? That was a weird time.
Yeah, this is the capitalist version of, the bad guy in a movie executing his second in command because he slightly didn't achieve what was, what he wanted.
Yeah, which he does that too.
Yeah, he also does that.
It'll never cease to blow my mind how we had a million movies in the 80s and 90s where the bad guy was directly modeled after Donald Trump. Not like kind of a guy like Donald Trump, but specifically after Donald Trump.
Yeah, Gremlins 2. The guy's name is Clamp.
Yeah, Back to the Future, one of the most popular movie franchises of all time. Biff is modeled after Donald Trump, and
he's got Donald Trump hair.
They still elected the motherfucker, and I'll never. I don't think pop culture has as much power as people have always given it.
Yeah, and like we've discussed before, is it like, I don't know, maybe
Biff should be president.
Maybe subtlety just doesn't work at all. Maybe I'm the only one who's reading into things. Maybe you literally,
Maybe the alternate 1985 and Back to the Future 2 is like the best case scenario. Yeah. Have you considered that?
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, Gary Oldman and his right-hand man, whose name is Right Arm, I think, something like that, who is Tricky, the trip-hop musician and member of Massive Attack, off and on. It's great. Love Tricky. Go check out some Tricky records. I recommend.
Yeah, he's great in this.
It's
a shame he's not in it longer.
Yeah. And he really got the memo. He really got the memo for his part to be slightly bewildered by shit left and right. So Gary Oldman and Tricky are trading the big toad alien lizard guys who blew up the other aliens 4 crates of guns for these stones. And Gary Oldman demonstrates the guns, and it's a classic bad guy demonstrating guns scene. Like, these guns do everything. They got a fucking rocket launcher, they flamethrower, a fucking net launcher, arrows, everything. It's basically
crazy. The Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man scene.
Shit. Yeah.
Except he's not blowing up the desert. He's shooting it in a warehouse, but same thing.
Yeah. Or the Samuel L. Jackson in Jackie Brown watching videos, reviewing. And when you absolutely positively must kill every motherfucker in the room, AK-47.
Yeah.
It's a really great scene. Turns out that these alien guys, they brought the case with with stones, and they handed it to Gary Oldman, and the case is empty. They didn't think to check if the rocks were in there.
They weren't tasked to bring back rocks. They were tasked to bring back a case.
Yeah,
I'm on their side.
Yeah, agree.
Contract fulfilled.
Yeah, and Gary Oldman's like, fuck you. And they're like, no, fuck you. I mean, whether or not you got what we wanted, or what you wanted, we did what you asked.
Exactly.
So he says, okay, you can take 1 case of the guns for partial completion. And then, it's a classic bit where he and Tricky go outside, and he's explaining about how, I hate dealing with warriors. Warriors done nothing, blah, blah, blah.
I say.
Let me be frank.
He's the guy from Cyber Vengeance.
A little bit, yes. I saw Terry Serpico. Terry
you talked
Serpico
about it.
is in the new season of Dark Winds. That's right.
We talked about it.
And so they go outside, and Gary Oldman's lighting a cigarette, and he explains to Tricky, like, a real merchant would have noticed and asked about the red button on the bottom of them guns. And we cut to the alien inside pressing this red button on the bottom of the gun, and then the whole thing blows up because it's all a booby trap. But Gary Oldman is lighting a cigarette and not looking at the explosion directly behind him. Because he's cool, and this is exactly a replay of one of the scenes from The Professional.
Yeah, like direct homage.
And it's a good bit. I mean, guy not looking at an explosion is fucking cool. So we get through that shit, and we cut to the scene. We cut to a scene with Lilu explaining to the priest that she gave the stones to someone she could trust, or the alien people gave the stones to someone they could trust on Fluston Paradise, which is a fancy hotel, which we heard an ad for with Ruby Rod earlier.
Yep.
So Tricky shows up at the door then at Ian Holm's place. He takes Ian Holm to see Zorg, and it had earlier been mentioned that, like, this guy who claimed he was an art director with a limp. Gary Oldman has a limp. Don't worry about it. It's not important. An art director or an art curator with a limp had shown up asking about the rocks like a month ago. So Tricky takes him to see Zorg. Zorg metaphorizes destruction, like the process of destruction, as a creative force by shoving a glass off of his desk. And this is This is an economic theory long discredited by a Frenchman who I forgot to look his name up, began with a B, called broken windows theory, that if a person breaks a window, that actually does good for society because it creates jobs, because people need to make the glass, people need to repair the window itself, etc., etc. It requires police to arrest the person who broke the window. It's very odd.
I'm pulling up a different broken windows theory, which I've actually heard of.
Yeah, that's a New York policing thing from
which is bullshit as well.
Yes, it very much is. This was the first broken windows theory, and
basically, if you hear a broken windows theory,
assume it's
bullshit.
Wrong. Yeah. And this is a very dumb thing that he extemporizes on at length, and a bunch of little Roombas come out and clean up the glass because now the people who made those robots have jobs because I'm gonna break a glass and whatever. And
everything always comes down to making sure people are working all the time, constantly.
Yeah, it's very important. We can't.
Society is good as long as people are
think or
going
create.
to work.
Yeah. So then Gary Oldman gets a new glass of water with a cherry in it. He takes a drink. Ian Holm is like, "Yeah, this is all bullshit." Gary Oldman chokes on the cherry. And then Ian Holm is like, "So what about all these robots and stuff? Is anybody going to pat you on the back?" And Gary Oldman's just joking and like doing the "please give me the Heimlich maneuver" and thrashing around on his desk.
Hitting random buttons, including one that opens up a cage for his fuck pet.
Yes, he has a fuck pet. It is sort of like a very small pinkish elephant. I don't know.
It's like a baby size noodles.
Yeah, kind of a size noodles scenario. Yeah, it's definitely a fuck pet.
He definitely fucks it. Shout out to Astronomica.
Yeah, shout out to our buddies at Astronomica. For all your fuck pet needs, subscribe to the Astronomica podcast. And then as Ian Holm gains the metaphorical and philosophical upper hand, he slaps Gary Oldman on the back. Cherry gets spit out, and he's saved. And Gary Oldman says, "Because you saved my life, I'm not going to kill you, but get the fuck out of here."
And it's another great scene because you don't usually see the ultimate bad guy in such a vulnerable situation. Like that could have been it. If Ian Holm hadn't been a good person, movie over. I mean, I don't know what would have happened, but it's an interesting scene, and it's an interesting antagonist, which I wish more movies would have antagonists that aren't so boilerplate.
This movie is full of this movie is absolutely chock full of the weird version of a scene.
Yeah.
And this is not that. Like, this is, yes, you could easily see in any given movie, okay, so the, like, fourth good guy gets brought before the ultimate bad guy, and then he's killed. And this sets up the stakes for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, you assume he's going to be killed the first time you watch the movie.
And that is not even slightly what the scene is. Like, it's really, this movie does a lot of subverting for what it seems like it should be doing. It's very impressive.
And like the character that Gary Oldman is playing is such a, I hesitate to say stereotypical bad guy. Like, he's just evil for evil's sake. You don't get to hear his troubled backstory.
Yeah.
You can't relate to him, which is fine. I mean, though I don't mind having unrelatable bad guys, but they make him interesting in other ways. Like, he's not a one-dimensional, boring villain. He's actually a really interesting villain because they make him interesting in other ways.
He's got a fuck pet he cares for.
Yeah. I don't know if he cares about the fuck pet, but he does pet it, so maybe he does care. I don't know. I don't
Later
give a shit.
we see him gently patting it.
I don't give a shit. All I want is for him to be killed by the true heroes of the story, which he will be.
Sure. Yes, he will. So Ian Holm gets sent home because he saved Gary Oldman's life. And Gary Oldman says to Tricky, okay, you've got 1 hour to find me the fucking stones. And
I love that when he says, gives him this list of things that you have to accomplish the point of this movie, and then he just walks away and says, you've got 1 hour. It's like, oh, okay. And then if you look at the timestamp, that is with exactly 1 hour of the movie.
Yeah, it's like 1 hour and 4 minutes remaining or something. It's a very funny bit. There's some really fun shit with timers in this movie.
Yeah.
So we cut back to the scary black planet thing in space, and it is eating all of the like communication satellites in the galaxy? ? And it also at this point we see this weird little like POV shot at floor level going through the room with the president in it, and the president and Brian James are talking, and they say, okay, the diva Plava Laguna has the stones on Floston Paradise. Like, again, it doesn't matter how they learned this. We just skipped over that whole part of it. Like, who gives a shit? We're moving the plot ahead. It's a good bit of business.
Yeah.
So, and then we find out that this POV is Tricky controlling a cockroach with like a microphone glued to its back that climbs onto the desk. Okay, so the Diva's got the stones. The army and Tricky know this at this point. And Brian James says he's got the perfect man to get the fucking stones. And then we cut to Corbin Dallas.
Eating noodles.
Eating noodles because a food truck, flying food truck ship.
Food junk.
Food junk? Yeah, it is junk. Has pulled up to his window. He's eating some fucking noodles.
Also more evidence that this is Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's exactly like the scene in Blade Runner. He say, you are Blade Runner. He gets the mail in a plastic slot. The guy who runs the food truck is like, oh, it's going to be good news. And Corbin's like, yeah, I fucking doubt it. It's never good news. And the food truck guy says, I bet you your lunch that it is good news. And Corbin says, okay, open it, whatever. And it turns out he's fired. He's been fired by the Zorg cab company.
But he gets a free lunch.
So this is really the only interaction that Zorg and Corbin Dallas have.
Yep.
And Zorg has no idea. He's just one of literally a million people that got fired. But then his phone rings. So obviously this time it's going to be the president saying, come do this shit. No, it's his mom, Corbin's mom. Corbin's mom appears in this film only on the phone. And she is annoying.
3 times?
3 times, I think. She's really annoying. She does a very, very stereotypical, I can't believe I was in labor with you for 48 hours type of thing. You don't even appreciate your mother.
It's just building the character of Corbin Dallas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think we mentioned it earlier. He's got an ex-wife that he's now divorced from.
Yeah, true.
So she explains, she basically says, I saw you won the contest. Why don't you got to take your mother on it. I'm the biggest fan in the world. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then another piece of mail shows up behind him. And he's like, okay, look, I'll talk to you later. Somebody's at the door, because somebody's at the door. And it turns out it's Brian James with an East German weightlifting team version of Princess Leia, who is named, is it Lieutenant?
I think Sergeant, maybe.
Yeah, something Iceborg.
Yeah, great name.
Which is a perfect name for a comedy woman in Cyberpunk. Iceborg. Fun. So, Brian James read the contest. Bruce Willis is going to take Lieutenant Iceborg as his wife. They're going to go to Floston Paradise. They're going to get the stones and bring them back. Because Bruce Willis meets these 3 requirements. Number 1, he knows every ship and weapon that will likely be needed on this mission. Huge scroll unrolls, like down to the ground. It's hilarious.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's cartoon bullshit. He like pulls out a piece of paper and it just unrolls like 8 feet long. Also, I don't remember what the other 3, what the other 2 requirements are, but he's going to take this fucking mission. And it's going to be great. Then somebody else knocks on the fucking door. He looks through the people. It's fucking Lilu. And he shoves the military guys into the refrigerator. He says, wait, this is my wife. I mean, not my wife. We're not married yet. She's my fiance. She would be crazy mad if I told her I was in the military. You gotta hide. Just give me a minute. I gotta, smooth it over with her and we'll figure this out. So he shoves the military.
Some Looney Tunes shit going down.
It really is. So then he opens the door to Lilu. And it turns out that Ian Holm is there with a gun that he holds to Bruce Willis's head, because Ian Holm also heard he won the contest. So Ian Holm and Lilu are going to take the tickets to go to Floston Paradise and get the stones from the diva, because Ian Holm knows this shit, obviously. Then the cops show up.
Yeah. There's so many factions involved.
This is a really good, this is a really well constructed, 10-minute comedy piece. So then the cops show up. They are looking for Corbin Dallas. Why? It turns out because they've been bribed. But they basically do the Minority Report thing. If you remember that, where they're scanning everybody in the building.
Yeah. You're right. That is from Minority Report.
Yeah, and it turns out that Lilu had pulled the label off of Corbin's door that said Corbin Dallas and stuck it on his next door neighbor's door. And the cops end up arresting the neighbor, but not before Corbin has stuck the priest in the bed, which slides away like a Murphy bed, and Lilu
everything's
in the shower.
Murphy.
Yeah, everything is Murphy in this apartment. The whole apartment is 90 square feet.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a tiny house, lover's dream.
Yeah. So, yeah, she ends up in the shower. The cops end up taking his next door neighbor, the mugger, and just blackbagging him in a very literal sense. And it turns out that Tricky arranged for the cops to do this. So Tricky, is going to take the tickets and go to Floston Paradise to get the stones. Then the cops get ambushed by the Toad guys, who also have the same idea. Yes. So at this point, Corbin is, starts releasing people from their Murphy jails, including a very damp and cold Lilu Dallas.
Because he forgot about the auto wash.
Yeah, he did. Let's Ian Holm free, because Ian Holm is suffocating in another fetish thing, which is a saran wrapped bed.
Oh yeah, everybody's got a fetish of saran wrapping Ian Holm. Are you kidding me? Oh
yeah.
More.
Ian Holm ends up bonking him on the head and stealing his tickets.
Oh
yeah.
Betrayal.
So they run away. Then Corbin opens the door to the refrigerator where the army people are now frozen. They appear to be literally frozen solid. Don't worry about it. He grabs the orders.
It does look like they're fucking dead. Let's be real.
Yeah, it can be assumed they're dead, but Brian James shows up later.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be where we stop for this first part.
Yes, everybody is going to the fucking airport.
And everybody is Corbin Dallas. Or is pretending to be.
Yes. There are not, at this point in the film, there are like 9 Corbin Dallases running around.
Yeah. In the meantime, I guess we're not rating it because we're not done, but you can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Bluesky, we're on there, hightechlowlife. I'm at the frog with a 0. He's at count 0 with an X. Email us. We've been getting some emails. And although I've been unable to respond to them, we're reading them and we like getting them. So
yes, we are taking your suggestions on board.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to have a chance to get down and respond to some of the folks that wrote us because I like hearing from you. So keep it coming. hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com. Anything else? That it?
And join our Patreon if you want to hear us reacting to this live. For me, at least, for the first time in 20 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're getting 3 episodes of content out of this movie. Jesus.
Yeah. All right. That's exploiting intellectual property.
Well, I'll see you all next week. Do you want to go out with a quote from the first half?
Shit. I was totally unprepared for that.
Yeah, that's why I always do it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Are you classified as human? Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Twitter at Johnny60seconds, email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com, and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music by Nihilor at nihilor.com. Thank you for listening.
Keep it moving. Come on, what are you waiting on? Let's go.
They're trashing our rights, man! They're trashing the fluid data! They're trashing! Hide the planet! Hide the planet!
Shut up and get in the car.